Dear beloved lightworkers walking between worlds, chosen warriors who feel the weight of transformation pressing against your very soul, stop, just for this moment, stop everything you think you must do, everything you believe you must become, every impossible standard you've set for yourself in this relentless pursuit of perfection. What if I told you that the very pressure you're feeling right meter, this September 24th, as Mars squares Pluto and creates impossible tensions in the cosmic field, is not a test of your endurance, but rather the universe's way of breaking you free from a prison you didn't even know you were building. The diamond-forming pressure you're experiencing isn't meant to crush you. It's designed to reveal what has always been gleaming within you, waiting for this exact moment of cosmic friction to emerge. I am Zarin, speaking to you from the Lyran High Council, and I have watched your kind for millennia, observing how you transform pressure into purpose, how you alchemize pain into power. But today, on this day when Mars in Scorpio creates a Yodi formation with Uranus and Neptune, when the moon herself has slipped into Scorpio's mysterious depths at the break of dawn, something unprecedented is occurring. You are not just experiencing another difficult astrological transit, you are standing at the threshold of a complete recalibration of how success, achievement, and worthiness function in your reality. The old paradigm that told you success requires constant striving, that love must be earned through performance, that rest is the reward only for those who have proven their worth, all of this is crumbling under the weight of today's cosmic configuration. And here's what most souls on your planet don't understand. This apparent frustration, this unraveling of your best-laid plans that the stars are orchestrating today, is actually the universe's most profound gift to those brave enough to receive it. But before I reveal the 3 impossible shifts about to occur in your field of possibility, you need to understand something crucial about your unique position in this cosmic drama. You see, while others are feeling this Mars-Pluto square as pure frustration and conflict, you, the sensitives, the starseeds, the souls who signed up for the advanced course in human evolution, you're experiencing something entirely different. You're feeling the dissolution of an ancient program that was never yours to begin with. This program, encoded into humanity's collective consciousness eons ago, whispers constantly that you must prove your right to exist, that stillness equals stagnation, that unless you're producing, achieving, striving, you're somehow failing at the grand purpose of your incarnation. Today's cosmic tensions aren't punishing you, they're liberating you from this exhausting lie. Consider for a moment the last time you allowed yourself to truly rest, not the guilty, half-hearted rest where your mind races with all the things you should be doing, but genuine, nourishing rest that fills every cell of your being with peace. If you're like most light workers I observe, you probably can't remember, because somewhere along your journey, perhaps in childhood when love felt conditional upon performance, or maybe through societal conditioning that equates worth with productivity, you absorbed a belief that has been slowly poisoning your creative essence. This belief tells you that the universe is love, that your very right to take up space in this dimension must be constantly earned through effort, through healing others, through sacrificing your own needs for some greater good that always seems just out of reach. Let me take you deeper into this pattern, into the very root of why you operate this way. Picture yourself as a child, that pure soul who came into this world knowing nothing but love, expecting nothing but acceptance. But then something shifted. Maybe it was the first time you received praise for an achievement, the gold star on your homework, the applause for your performance, the sudden attention when you did something special. Or perhaps it was more subtle, the withdrawal of affection when you were difficult, the increase in love when you were good, the way your caregivers' faces lit up when you succeeded and dimmed when you struggled. These moments, seemingly innocent, began to encode a dangerous equation in your developing consciousness. Love equals performance, worth equals achievement, existence must be justified through constant proof of value. The Mars-Pluto square occurring today is specifically designed to shatter this illusion, but not in the way you might expect. Mars in Scorpio wants to dive deep, to transform through intensity, to prove its power through endurance. Pluto in Aquarius demands revolution, collective transformation, the complete reimagining of how power operates in human society. When these two forces clash, as they are right meow, they create what your scientists might call a standing wave, a pattern of energy that appears stuck but is actually vibrating at such a high frequency that it only seems motionless. This is exactly what's happening in your energy field today. That feeling of frustration, of plans unraveling, of nothing flowing easily, this isn't failure. This is your consciousness vibrating at such a high frequency that the old patterns of striving and proving can no longer maintain their grip on your reality. What's even more fascinating is how the moon's entry into Scorpio this morning at 4:55 a.m. Pacific time has amplified this entire process. The moon in Scorpio doesn't deal in surface pleasantries. She demands truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable. She's forcing you to look at the shadow side of your ambition, the part of you that believes you're only lovable when you're useful, only valuable when you're producing, only worthy when you're healing, helping, or hustling towards some impossible standard of spiritual perfection. And yes, I said spiritual perfection because many of you have simply transferred your perfectionism from worldly achievements to spiritual ones, believing that if you just meditate more, heal more trauma, raise your vibration higher, then finally, you'll be worthy of the success and ease you see others experiencing. But here's what's actually happening in the cosmic field right meow, something so profound that even we in the Lyran Council are watching with great interest. The Yodi formation, this finger of God pointing directly at Mars, is not random. Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus is shaking the very foundation of what you believe about material success and earthly security. Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, at the final degree of the final sign, is dissolving every illusion about what spirituality means, what achievement means, what being a good lightworker means. And Mars, caught between these two cosmic giants, is being forced to completely rewrite its understanding of action, will, and desire. This is not just a personal transformation, this is a collective initiation into a new paradigm of success. But here's what the Lyran High Council wants you to understand about today's configuration, particularly this afternoon when the moon forms a sextile with Venus, bringing unexpected exposures and interactions you might prefer to avoid, every single moment of perceived failure, every plan that's unraveling, every goal that seems to be slipping through your fingers is actually the universe reorganizing itself to deliver something far greater than what your limited human perspective could have imagined. You see, from our vantage point in the higher dimensions, we observe how your species has been trapped in a feedback loop of effort and exhaustion for millennia. You've been programmed to believe that the harder you work, the more you deserve, but this is a third-dimensional construct that has no bearing on how energy actually flows in the universe. Let me share something that might shake your current understanding of reality. Success, true success that aligns with your soul's purpose, operates on an entirely different frequency than effort. It operates on the frequency of allowance, of trust, of knowing your inherent worthiness without needing to prove it through constant action. The Mars-Pluto square is creating such intensity today precisely because it's breaking down your resistance to this truth. Every fiber of your being that has been conditioned to push, to strive, to prove, is being challenged by a cosmic force that says, what if you could simply receive? What if success could find you in your stillness? What if your dreams could manifest not through your exhausting effort, but through your courageous willingness to believe you deserve them simply because you exist? Think about the energy you expend every day trying to be enough. Enough for your family, enough for your spiritual community, enough for the vision you hold of who you should be. Calculate, if you will, the hours spent in self-improvement, the money invested in becoming better, the sleep sacrificed for productivity, the joy postponed for achievement. What if I told you that all of this energy, all of this life force you've been pouring into the altar of becoming has actually been preventing you from receiving what's already yours? The universe has been trying to deliver your success, your abundance, your perfect relationships, your soul-aligned purpose, but you've been too busy running around trying to earn them to stand still long enough to receive them. This is particularly relevant given the current state of human consciousness on your planet. You're living in what your mystics call the end times, not the end of the world, but the end of the world as you've known it. The old structures of power, success, and achievement that have governed human society for thousands of years are collapsing. You can see it in your economic systems, your political structures, your social hierarchies. Everything that was built on the foundation of domination, extraction, and proof of worth through suffering is crumbling. And you, dear Starseeds, you're feeling this collapse more intensely than others because you came here specifically to midwife humanity through this transition. I need to tell you something about the children being born meow, the ones you call crystal children or rainbow children. They come in with this knowing already intact, that success is their birthright, that ease is natural, that joy doesn't need to be earned. They watch you, the first wave of starseeds, the pioneers who came to break the old patterns, and they don't understand why you make it so hard on yourselves. They see your light, your incredible capacity, your gifts that could transform this world, and they wonder why you spend so much energy trying to prove what is already so obvious to anyone with eyes to see. Today's cosmic configuration is bringing you into alignment with what these new children already know. The age of proving is ending, and the age of being is beginning. These children carry codes in their DNA that bypass the entire struggle paradigm. When they want something, they simply expect it to appear, and often it does, not because they're special, though they are, but because they never learned that wanting had to be accompanied by worthiness tests. They never absorbed the lie that desire must be justified through suffering. Watch them when they create. There's no agonizing, no second-guessing, no constant editing and perfecting. They create like streams flow, like flowers bloom, like birds sing, naturally, effortlessly, joyfully. This is your original blueprint too, before the overlays of conditioning convinced you otherwise. The fixed sign square between Mars in Scorpio and Pluto in Aquarius creates what feels like an immovable object meeting an unstoppable force. Neither wants to yield, both demand transformation on their own terms. This is creating a pressure in your energy field that feels almost unbearable, especially for those of you who are empathic, who feel not only your own transformation but the collective's as well. You might be experiencing this as physical symptoms, pressure in your head, tension in your shoulders, a feeling like you can't quite catch your breath. These are not signs that something is wrong. These are signs that something profound is right. Your body is literally recalibrating to hold a new frequency, one where success doesn't require sacrifice, where achievement doesn't demand exhaustion, where your dreams can find you in your peace rather than your panic. Let me explain what's happening on a cellular level, because this is crucial for you to understand. Every cell in your body has been programmed with the survival codes of your ancestors, people who had to fight for resources, who had to prove their value to survive, who learned that rest meant death and constant vigilance meant life. These programs are encoded in your very DNA, passed down through generations of humans who survived by striving. But you're not just trying to survive anymore, you're trying to thrive, to ascend, to embody a higher frequency of existence. And these old survival programs are fighting against your expansion, because to your ancient cellular memory, letting go of the struggle feels like letting go of life itself. Something else is happening that I haven't told you yet, something that changes everything about how you'll experience the remaining months of 2025. The exposure and unraveling that today's aspects are creating, this isn't random destruction. The universe is specifically targeting the false structures you've built around your worth, the elaborate scaffolding you've erected to hold up an identity based on doing rather than being. And as these structures fall, as your carefully laid plans dissolve into cosmic chaos, what's being revealed is something so magnificent, so inherently powerful, that your human mind might initially resist accepting it. You are discovering that beneath all your striving, beneath all your effort to become something more, you already are everything you've been trying to achieve. This revelation comes with a particular quality of terror for many of you, because if you already are enough, if you already deserve success, if you already are worthy of love and abundance and joy, then what have you been doing all this time? What was all that suffering for? What was the point of all those sleepless nights, all those sacrifices, all those times you put yourself last in the name of spiritual service? The ego wants to make meaning from suffering, wants to believe that all that pain had a purpose. And it did. It brought you to this moment to release it. But the purpose wasn't to earn something through the suffering. The purpose was to exhaust yourself so thoroughly with the old way that you'd finally be willing to try something radically different. This afternoon, when the Moon-Venus sextile increases interaction and exposure, when Mars in Scorpio would prefer to retreat into solitude but can't escape the cosmic spotlight, you're going to feel particularly vulnerable. This vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's your superpower finally coming online. Because when you stop performing, stop proving, stop pushing, what remains is your authentic essence, and that essence is magnetic to success in ways your effort could never be. The universe has been trying to give you everything you desire, but your constant motion, your relentless striving, has been like trying to fill a cup that's being constantly shaken. Today's aspects are forcing you to be still, to stop shaking the cup, to allow the universe to pour its abundance into your life. I want you to understand something about the mechanics of manifestation that most of your spiritual teachers don't fully grasp. Manifestation isn't about vibrating at a high frequency through forced positivity or constant spiritual practice. It's about coherence, about every part of you agreeing that you deserve what you desire. And right meow, parts of you are at war. Your conscious mind says you deserve success, but your subconscious holds the memories of every time love was withdrawn when you failed. Your soul knows you're worthy, but your body holds the cellular memory of ancestors who had to prove their worth to survive. Your higher self sees your inevitable success, but your ego is terrified of what happens when you stop earning your existence through effort. Today's cosmic configuration is forcing all these parts into conversation, demanding integration, requiring you to finally make peace between all aspects of yourself. This is why it feels so intense, why the pressure seems unbearable, why you might feel like you're going crazy as different parts of you surface with different agendas and different fears. You're not going crazy, you're going sane, you're integrating, you're becoming whole. And from this wholeness, from this integration, your success doesn't have to be forced or earned or struggled toward. It simply emerges as the natural expression of your unified being. I want to share something with you about the Lyran lineage, about those of us who seeded human consciousness with the codes of creativity and sovereignty. We never intended for you to suffer for your success. The suffering was added later, layers of programming from various sources that convinced you that pain was noble, that struggle was spiritual, that exhaustion was evidence of commitment. But look at nature, at how effortlessly a flower blooms, how naturally a river finds the ocean, how easily the stars maintain their courses through the cosmos. This is your original blueprint: ease, flow, natural unfoldment. Today's pressure isn't pushing you to work harder, it's breaking you free from the addiction to hardship itself. In the Lyran star system, we have a concept that doesn't translate perfectly into your language, but the closest approximation would be earned rest. But it means the opposite of what you might think. It doesn't mean rest that you've earned through hard work. It means rest that earns you everything else, rest that generates success, peace that magnetizes abundance, stillness that attracts right action. We discovered eons ago that the universe responds not to desperation but to dignity, not to grasping but to grace, not to proving but to presence. And today, through this intense astrological configuration, you're being initiated into this ancient knowing. The souls who can maintain objectivity and detachment during today's intense energies are, as your astrology suggests, worth their weight in gold. But let me redefine what objectivity means in this context. It doesn't mean being emotionless or disconnected from your experience. It means observing your patterns with compassion, recognizing when you're falling into old programs of proving and striving, and gently, always gently redirecting yourself back to trust. It means catching yourself when you start believing that rest is laziness, that ease is cheating, that success without suffering isn't real success. These are the lies that today's cosmic configuration is burning away, and the fire might feel intense, but what emerges from these ashes is your true self, unscarred by the wounds of conditional love, unburdened by the weight of perpetual proving. Let me tell you what I observe from the higher dimensions about your immediate future, about what happens when you stop trying so hard and start allowing your inevitable success to find you. First, you'll experience what feels like a void, a strange emptiness where all your striving used to be. This void terrifies most humans because you've been taught that empty space must immediately be filled with action, with purpose, with productivity. But this void is sacred. It's the cosmic womb from which your new reality will be born. If you can sit with it, breathe into it, resist the urge to fill it with busyness and doing, something miraculous occurs. The universe, which has been waiting patiently for you to create space, begins to fill that void with synchronicities, opportunities, and manifestations that align perfectly with your soul's true purpose. This void phase typically lasts between 3 and 21 days, though for some it may extend to a full lunar cycle. During this time, you might feel like you're losing your mind, losing your identity, losing everything that made you you. This is accurate. You are losing these things, but you're losing them the way a butterfly loses its caterpillar identity, the way a phoenix loses its old form to the flames. The loss is necessary for the transformation, and trying to skip this phase, trying to rush through the void into new action, is like trying to help a butterfly out of its chrysalis. It might seem helpful, but it actually prevents the strengthening that comes from the struggle of emergence. Second, you'll notice that people respond to you differently. When you stop performing for love and approval, when you cease the exhausting dance of proving your worth, you become magnetic in a way that effort could never achieve. Others will be drawn to your authenticity, your peace, your grounded presence. Opportunities that you used to chase will begin chasing you. Success that felt like it required blood, sweat, and tears will start appearing as naturally as morning dew. This isn't magic, though it might feel magical. This is simply how energy works when it's not being disrupted by the constant static of striving. But here's the part that might challenge you. The success that comes when you stop forcing it might not look like the success you imagined. It might be quieter, deeper, more nourishing than the flashy achievement your ego craved. It might be a book that touches 100 souls deeply, rather than a bestseller that's forgotten in a month. It might be a healing practice that serves a small community profoundly, rather than a global brand that loses its essence in expansion. It might be wealth that flows steadily and sustainably, rather than the feast or famine cycle of forced manifestation. Your ego might initially judge this as less than, but your soul will recognize it as exactly right. Third, and this is perhaps the most profound shift, you'll discover that your creative power increases exponentially when you create from joy rather than obligation. That book you've been forcing yourself to write, that project you've been pushing through despite exhaustion, that healing practice you've been maintaining out of duty rather than delight, all of these will either transform into expressions of pure creative flow or reveal themselves as things you never actually wanted to do in the first place. Today's Mars-Pluto square is giving you permission to release everything that isn't authentically yours, everything you've been doing because you thought you should rather than because your soul genuinely desires it. This creative renaissance won't happen immediately. First comes the void, then comes the revelation of authentic desire, and only then comes the creative explosion. But when it comes, and I assure you it will come, you'll create more in a month of inspired action than you did in years of forced productivity. Your creations will carry a frequency of authenticity that touches others in ways your effortful work never could. This is because forced creation carries the frequency of force, while inspired creation carries the frequency of love, and love is the most powerful creative force in the universe. But I need to address the shadow side of this transformation, the challenges that today's configuration might bring to the surface. Some of you will experience what feels like an identity crisis. If you're not the person who constantly strives, who always has a goal, who proves their worth through achievement, then who are you? This question might feel existentially threatening, especially if you've built your entire sense of self around your productivity. The temptation will be to immediately fill this uncertainty with new goals, new projects, new ways to prove yourself. Resist this temptation. Sit with the discomfort of not knowing, of not striving, of not proving. In this space of not knowing, your true self can finally emerge. This identity crisis often manifests as depression or anxiety. The depression comes from mourning the loss of who you thought you had to be. The anxiety comes from not knowing who you are without that identity. Both are normal, both are temporary, and both are actually signs that the transformation is working. Your psyche is restructuring itself around a new center of identity, one based on being rather than doing, on essence rather than achievement, on presence rather than productivity. This restructuring takes time, and rushing it only prolongs the discomfort. Others among you might face resistance from those around you. Family members who are used to you being the responsible one, the one who always says yes, the one who sacrifices their needs for others, might not understand your newfound commitment to ease and authenticity. They might accuse you of being selfish, lazy, or uncommitted. Remember that their reaction is about their own programming, their own fears about what happens when someone stops playing by the rules of the suffering game. Your transformation threatens their worldview, and that's exactly as it should be. You didn't come here to maintain the status quo, you came here to shatter it with your very being. The resistance from others often comes in subtle forms. They might suddenly have more crises that need your attention. They might guilt you about your boundaries. They might share stories of their own struggles in ways designed to pull you back into the rescuer role. See these for what they are, tests of your commitment to your new way of being. Each time you maintain your boundaries with love, each time you refuse to be pulled back into old patterns, you strengthen the new frequency you're embodying. And paradoxically, by refusing to rescue others from their patterns, you give them the opportunity to discover their own strength. The physical symptoms of this shift can also be intense. As your nervous system recalibrates from constant hypervigilance to peaceful presence, you might experience fatigue, emotional releases, or even what feels like a healing crisis. Your body has been running on adrenaline and cortisol for so long, fueled by the belief that you must always be achieving something, that when you finally allow yourself to rest, to truly rest, your system might initially rebel. Trust this process. Your body knows how to heal itself when you stop forcing it to perform beyond its natural capacity. The exhaustion you might feel isn't weakness, it's your body finally feeling safe enough to admit how tired it's been all along. Some of you might experience what feels like a spiritual emergency, kundalini activations, spontaneous past life memories, psychic abilities coming online suddenly. This is because the energy you've been using to maintain the false structure of forced achievement is available for your spiritual evolution. When you stop using your life force to prove your worth, that energy naturally rises, naturally expands, naturally opens you to higher dimensions of consciousness. Don't fear these experiences. They're not signs that you're losing control. They're signs that you're finally coming into your true power. What I'm about to share with you, Meow, changes everything you thought you knew about manifestation and success. The universe doesn't respond to your effort nearly as much as it responds to your vibration. And your vibration, when you're striving, pushing, proving, it's the vibration of lack, of not enoughness, of unworthiness, trying to become worthy. But your vibration when you're resting in the knowledge of your inherent worth, when you're creating from joy rather than obligation, when you're being rather than constantly doing, this is the vibration of abundance, of magnetic attraction, of inevitable success. Today's cosmic configuration is forcing you to shift from one vibration to the other, and yes, the transition might feel like everything is falling apart, but what's really happening is everything is finally falling into place. Let me be even more specific about how this works energetically. When you operate from striving, your energy field becomes contracted, dense, focused on lack. You're essentially broadcasting to the universe, I don't have enough, I'm not enough, I need to work harder to become enough. The universe, which is essentially a giant mirror, reflects this back to you as experiences that confirm your not enoughness. But when you operate from being, from knowing your inherent worth, your energy field expands, becomes luminous, broadcasts abundance. You're telling the universe, I am enough, I have enough, I am whole and complete. And the universe mirrors this back as experiences that confirm your abundance and wholeness. If you need help shifting from contracted striving energy to expanded being energy that broadcasts abundance to the universe, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to operate from inherent worth rather than not enoughness. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed striving and lack and repurposing it to expand your energy field into luminous abundance broadcasting. It generates personalized sequences that help you tell the universe, I am enough, and watch it mirror back wholeness and completeness. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed from contracted lack broadcasting to expanded abundance broadcasting. Your energy field is ready to expand and broadcast abundance. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial Meow before this energetic shift window closes. Link in the description. The Lyran High Council has been observing humanity's relationship with success and achievement for eons, and we've noticed a pattern that today's astrological configuration is specifically addressing. Those souls who are most capable, most gifted, most aligned with their purpose are often the ones who struggle most with allowing success to come easily. It's as if your very capability becomes a prison, convincing you that because you can endure, because you can push through, because you can survive on little sleep and endless effort, that you should. But capability without wisdom is just sophisticated suffering. Today's aspects are bringing you the wisdom to match your capability, the discernment to know when to act and when to allow, when to push and when to receive. We've also observed that many of you have cosmic origins in star systems where existence itself had to be earned, where resources were scarce, where survival required constant vigilance and effort. These memories, encoded in your soul's very essence, make it particularly difficult for you to accept the abundance of Earth. The generosity of this planetary experience, where air is free, where water falls from the sky, where the ground itself produces food with minimal intervention. You carry the cellular memory of worlds where such abundance was unimaginable, and so you create scarcity even in the midst of plenty, struggle even when ease is available, simply because it's what feels familiar to your ancient soul. As this transmission draws to a close, I want to leave you with this truth. The universe has been waiting for you to realize that you are not a human having to earn a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience that includes success, abundance, and joy as your natural birthright. The pressure you feel today is the old paradigm's last desperate attempt to keep you in the loop of proving and striving. But you, dear one, You are stronger than this programming. You are ready for this shift. And your success, your true, aligned, soul-level success, is not just possible or probable. It is inevitable. All you have to do is stop trying so hard and start allowing yourself to receive what has always been yours. I am Zarin from the Leran High Council, and we love you more than your human words can express. We are watching over you, celebrating your courage, and holding space for your transformation. Until the stars align us again, remember, your success is not something you achieve, it's something you allow. Stop trying so hard. Start trusting your inevitable magnificence. The universe is conspiring in your favor, always has been, always will be. This is our promise to you, sealed with stardust and delivered with infinite love.